So, I will present the OOR web framework for Odoo ERP. So first, why do we need to expose an ERP on the web? Well, there might be several use cases, for instance, for an e-commerce, for a portal. So this is what we are going to talk about in this presentation. And I'm Raphaël Valyi. I'm the Accretion founder. I work with OpenERP since 2007. And we are around 14 people at Accretion now, working both in Brazil and in France. And I've been working on that stuff, connecting Ruby and OpenERP since 2009. So why that? And why that, and what can we do? Okay. We do have, as I said, we are interested in e-commerce and portals. So we have complex data, and we want to expose that on the web. We have an issue with traditional connectors, and we know them very well because at Accretion we have been the pioneer of, for instance, the Magento connector. I was even the first by 2008 to start that, and then we got Camp lately that helped a ton. So we know that very well. We have dozens of Magento, OpenERP, Odoo in productions, but there's traditional connectors. You have two databases, so you have a synchronization logic with a schema mismatch. You have an SQL schema on both sides. That means that it will never behave just like a single database. So it means that you can only cover the main workflows, and the customers, users, they don't always understand that. That means that, for instance, you will synchronize importing the orders, exporting the catalog, but if you deviate from that, like, for instance, if you are using Magento and the guy on the user, for instance, he will go on Magento and he will say, okay, that t-shirt color, I will delete the blue color, and he will go back in OpenERP in Odoo, and he will say, okay, I will synchronize the catalog again, and there is a t-shirt with a blue color, and it's going to crash. Okay, so it means that unless you do exactly the right process, which are covered, it doesn't. Sorry for the plane. Walking. It's early in the morning. I stayed at home because I prepared the slide yesterday evening and tomorrow and this morning. Okay, so we cannot cover every flow with a traditional connector. So let's say if some company has a lot of data, importing a lot of orders every day, like for instance at Accretion, we don't try to work with people with less than 30 orders a day because it means that it will be too expensive to do the connection, and the maintenance of it you will win. That means that, for instance, in countries like I am right now in Brazil, it means that e-commerce is so immature that basically we cannot have customers working with that, while instead in the United States or in France, for instance, it's more mature, so we can work with that. Also, with traditional connectors, we have painful upgrades because, for instance, the PHP part is going to change completely in a new version, and we need to accommodate with that. Also, this PHP shop, well, basically, we have been happy that they existed, but you know, it's not Greek code. It's probably going to die just like OS Commerce died before, and it's probably in a few years what will happen with it also. Well, okay, so this is, but again, we have been very happy working with this connector in the meantime, and it's just that we now see a world where with integrated e-commerce, for instance, we will be able to offer, like SaaS offer, quite cheap with everything working. It wouldn't be possible with the traditional connectors. Okay. Now, OpenERP SA, they have been making the same analysis as us, obviously. So they made a new web framework. But what we think is not really cool with that new framework is, well, basically, you don't invent a good web framework overnight. Like they've been working like 6 months on that. And if you compare that, like, say, to Rails, which has a decade of work, it's really not the same. It won't come any close. It's used only at OpenERP SA. It's kind of not invented here syndrome. Quite sad, but it happens. And since it's probably immature, it will change a lot. And if it doesn't change, then it will suck. So in any case, it will suck, I would say, in the close future. Also, with their web framework, there is a scalability issue, because every time you will visit an Odoo website, you will hit the OpenERP ORM. Okay, in the OpenERP ORM, it has plenty of cool features, like it's checking lots of stuff for security, and if you're allowed or not to look at some object. So it's doing a lot of stuff, but it's not optimized for reading. It's if you analyze, for instance, the number of cycle requests that are made, it's a lot more than it could be. Okay, then also it is a security issue, because it means that any logged web users, like for instance the forum user, is also an ERP user. That means that he will enter the core of the ERP. So it means that an ERP has a huge functional surface. So it means that there is just attack surface to try to exploit. And not only it will be easy to exploit, but also the damage will be huge, because the guy will take your whole complete database in the clear. So also there'll be DOS attacks, because on such huge to craft some requests to use some to use extra CPU on your machine. Okay, so well, I mean, this is just things you can expect from the global architecture, right? Anyway, you can also believe it's perfect, and it's I mean, it's your problem. But also there are issues with the business model, I would say. Well, first with OpenERP, Odoo, you might have discussed that already, and you know it, right? In Spain, for instance, there were almost no version 7 installation, because the difference between version 6.1 and 7 was so huge, you couldn't accommodate your localization. So basically, the publishers are doing trial and errors to quickly claim, okay, we do everything, but basically it's because they don't think a lot before doing the stuff, so they need change a lot. And also, I would say they are using constant change and surprise with closed migration paths to keep the leadership. Also they are publishing everything they do, so I mean, I'm not criticizing them overall. You know, it's their business model, but obviously this is a catch. So also AGPL modules. I'm totally in favor of AGPL modules, but you have to know that once you are exposing your ERP on the web, it means that now you should your code to anybody accessing your website. So it means it surely means your competition, for instance. So if you don't invest on your ERP, that's fine. But if you want to differentiate from the competition, well, maybe you would not like that, but with the AGPL license, and even if you would buy the the enterprise stuff, it wouldn't be compatible with the AGP exception wouldn't be compatible with the ecosystem, right? So so there is no real solution for that. I mean, you are exposed to the, I mean, it's insecure, legally speaking, I would say. Okay, so I would say for the ERP part, you may not have the choice because, let's say, the situation with proprietary ERPs, it's so bad that basically, even if we have those issues with Odoo, well, still, even if all that has a cost, it may still be a lot cheaper than a proprietary ERP. And it really happens. It can cost a fraction of the price, okay? But for the web part, hell, you have the choice. I mean, there is no, you don't need to get infected by this issue in your web framework. I mean, there are web frameworks that works. So, for instance, the Ruby on Rails stack can be an alternative. And even in Python, you have, for instance, Django, for instance. Both they have mature business model. There is no risk of surprise. It's a collegial decision. There is no risk of plan B to freak with the investors. Also, look at that. Something like Ruby on Rails, you have like more than 1,500 contributors over a decade. That's a lot of smart people that do exactly the right stuff in a collegial way to make the best framework. And I would say it also largely happened, for instance, with Django. But the issue, well, I personally like the Ruby language and better than the Python, if I consider the Python language is cool too. So there is also a personal preference with the Ruby language, but I would also say that about Django, we could not do with Django what I'm doing with Rails, because at some point Django is not modular enough at the model part of it, so you cannot really change the model. Say you are in an MVC architecture, and you cannot really change the model part of Django. You can perfectly change the model part of it. Okay, I will demonstrate that. So as I said, Rails has a decade of evolution, lots of contributors, websites using Rails, Basecamp, Twitter, GitHub, Shopify. Okay, what I will show is also inspired from Shopify. It's mostly a success in the United States, but maybe you know about it. Okay. Also, the OOR stack is licensed under the MIT license. That means that for everything that is Ruby, you can publish it or not, much like you want. That means that it opens the door to a whole new range of business model without threatening any of the existing ecosystems. That means that we don't need to come till now, but now we have moved back, and we should change the license because it's not making enough money, or because we could have a lot of more users if we freak with the license. No, there is no way. I mean, there is no reason to say that. But still, for the part that is not making a static linking with OpenERP, the part that is on the other side of the net, the part that is programmed in Ruby. But still, I mean, you have plenty of room to protect, like say, an investment if you want. So again, I'm very much in favor of open source, and I'm a defensor of the AGP license for OpenERP. but I think that it's cool in its space. I mean, there is no reason to contaminate all the web development. There are lots of startups that might invest only if they can protect their investment. So, okay. Anyway, I will explain that a bit better. So basically, OOR is just this Odoo client. It used to use XML RPC, but now it's using. So basically, I was talking about let me move that in the other screen so I can read what you are telling to me. Yeah, I'm continuing then. Okay. Just moving that properly. Just one sec. Yeah. Just one sec, guys, because I need to read what you're writing to me. Okay, so you see my screen, right? You see the slides, I assume. Okay. So the basic, yeah, but you see in the chat. Yeah. Okay. So basically, it's a JSON HTTP client over the internet, right? Over the network. So there is an Odoo server, okay, an Odoo ERP server, a PostgreSQL server, and you can connect to the Odoo server over the internet, over the network, okay, with OOR. And it's not unlike what you may believe. It's not connecting directly to the PostgreSQL server. So this is good because otherwise you would miss security layer, business layer of Odoo, and could connect directly to the SQL layer, or is connecting to the Odoo server using the Odoo API, just like when you program an OpenERP, an Odoo module. It's pretty much the same. The only difference is that you are passing over the network. So it's slower. It's a problem of balance. But if you don't make too many requests, and it's quite smart in the way it's requesting Odoo, so it's not making your OOR client, while you will have your OOR client connecting to the Odoo server in the middle, but also that OOR client would also be a Ruby server. For instance, a Ruby on Rails server, a Sinatra server, okay? And you would connect to that Ruby server with some HTML browser on your laptop, on your iPad, on what you want. And so you would connect either to the Odoo server, either to the Ruby server, which would in turn connect to the Odoo server. So in fact, it's a bit like the old web client of OpenERP. Now the second layer in the OpenERP client, it's not making a net RPC request, but before it was making some local object request called net RPC. But it's a bit the same architecture as the old Odoo client, okay, OpenERP client. Also, what is cool is that you can have sessions sharing. Basically, the same cookie OOR is made so that you can have, if you want, and based on the user, you can share the same cookie between your Ruby on Rails application and the Odoo server. It means that if sooner or later you are authenticating in the Odoo server, then you can also be identified as the same Odoo user on the Ruby on Rails server. Sorry for the plane. Yeah. Okay. I will demo that a bit later. Okay. About the API, I will show it very quickly. Basically, what do we have? We have basically OOR is very inspired from the model layer of Ruby on Rails, that is ActiveRecord. And it cannot implement all of ActiveRecord because ActiveRecord is making all the access to the cycle database, okay? And we are not doing that. We are talking JSON RPC to Odoo, so we cannot do everything we want. Okay? We can do a lot of things. And so basically, we cannot implement the whole ActiveRecord cycle. Okay, there is relational algebra. We cannot implement all of that. So what do we implement of Ruby on Rails? Say? Okay, because I claim it's not invented. It's the API. I didn't invent the API. I reused the same API that a subset of ActiveRecord. And it's cool because frameworks that would work with ActiveRecord, it would work with automatically work with OOR. Okay, so basically I can say that the subset of ActiveRecord that is implemented would be the intersection of the ActiveRecord API with Mongoid NoSQL API. And it's very cool because there are lots of frameworks today for Ruby on Rails, for instance, that are compatible with both. That means if they are compatible with both, then they are compatible with OOR out of the box. And you have example of that. For instance, Devise, the standard authentication system for Ruby. It's compatible both with ActiveRecord and Mongo. And then it's also compatible out of the box with. Okay, so basically we are implementing persistence, finder, scope relation. So I will try to show that. Let's see. Relationships also, many-to-many, one-to-many. Nested attributes. Nested attributes would be like in OpenERP, you are editing a cell order, you are adding order lines, and you can save it all together, the order lines and the cell order in a single call. So Rails has support for that also. It's called nested attributes. So we have that with the standard Rails API. We also have callbacks like after save, before save, things like that. We also have basic validations, but only basic validations because what is going to make the validation in OpenERP Odoo is the Odoo server, okay? Because sometimes there will be a cycle validation on the Odoo side, and we cannot really short circuit that, okay? So only the basic we have. But also we have ActiveRecord API. So for instance, we also have full workflows, buttons, on change. We also have that. I will try to demo that very quickly. So for instance, if I go to the Odoo runbot, for instance, I will connect to a runbot session. I will try. Okay, so Odoo, no, it's runbot, odoo.com. Okay. I hope that you are. Let me see that. Select another. Which one is it? Should be that one. Okay, so now you should see my console, and let's say, okay, I will, yeah, so, okay, I will use the OR command, then the name of the user, admin, then the name of the database, that one, arrobas, and then the URL should be that one. Okay, just I will put that 0 in front of it. I'm just wondering about that 0, if it will be required or not. That is a good question. Let's see that. Trying to connect. So then it's asking me for a password, admin. Okay, it's not connection failed. Why is that? Yeah, because I didn't do. Okay. Let me see if I do it this way. Yeah, because that port is not open. Yeah. The way I did it was a bit different. I can try this way. So bundle. Yeah, it's because otherwise. Okay, guys, I will connect just to a local instance. Okay. So I have it will be faster. Okay, I have a local instance running, and admin at version. I've got one, yeah, called version 8, if I remember well, and localhost. Okay. Okay, admin also. Okay, so it's loading all the proxies. So for instance, I can do. I hope you see the bottom of my screen. Maybe I can make it a bit bigger. Let's see that view. Zoom in. Yeah, view. Zoom in. Okay. Yeah. One more. Just sorry, I didn't have a lot of time to prepare the demo. Okay. So product. There is auto-completion, and I can find, for instance, the first product. Okay. And I can say it's called P, and then I can print the name of P. I can also print population working like a tag ID. Okay, so it's called services. Okay, I can have the ID of that stuff also. Okay, so I can do lots of stuff. You can check that on the yeah. I can, for instance, I can sell order. For instance, I can have a sell order with a domain. For instance, state equal draft. For instance, draft. Okay, so it's found like six orders. I can take the first one, for instance. So I will do find 10, for instance. I would call that SO. Okay, and I have the name of it, and then I can do, for instance, there's workflow action. I think there is an order, I think it's called order confirm, the workflow action that I can call. I'm not too sure. Let's see if it's that. No. Oh, it's saying in the order, you cannot confirm a sell order which has no line, okay? So basically just because I took a bad one. Let's take another one. Let's take, for instance, the 2, okay? And I will try the same stuff, order confirm, okay, and if I do a state, but now the order draft state anymore, it's manual, okay, so it means that I could confirm the order. Okay, you can check that later. I'm not going to spend too much time in that. Instead, I'm switching back to the, because I will cover a few more stuff. I will try to show the most advanced stuff instead of going into much details about all that. Okay, let's try. It should be that one. Okay. So sorry about that. I didn't do it with the run bot. It would have been cooler. You could verify. You could check what if it's right, but it would spend more time. Okay. What we have also compatibility. We have caminary pagination. That is, you know, in OpenERP, for instance, the pagination logic. It's custom code from OpenERP SA, and it means they have the burden of the maintenance of that. And in Rails, we have caminary. It's a package. It's a gem. So it's all nicely abstracted away. You know, in Rails, I mean, it's different world. Even the function to translate. Even a function to translate, you are telling me something. Let me see that it's not in the right chat. Just okay. How long do I need? Like more 15 minutes or? Well, it was supposed to be half hour, right? But yeah. Okay, if you want, I can just showcase the stuff in 5 minutes if you prefer, then just making it a lot shorter. Okay, I finish in like 5 minutes, okay? Okay, so we have lots of gems out of the box that works out of the box. I'm going to show that instead of the demo. I will show that directly on the real case we have. We have formulas, we have assets, we have lots of stuff. So for instance, we have simple form, which is Twitter Bootstrap integration. I'm not going to make a demo right now. I will show on the live case. We also have on-change and domains on those formulas. It's working rather with jQuery instead of Python expression, just like OpenERP, because it's like okay. Also, we have something very cool. We have Solarize that we can framework is better for scalability, but how that? Because what I've shown you, I was hitting OpenERP database, right? OpenERP web server. But in fact, I can abstract away if I want. I use Solar as a NoSQL data store, and you know, Apache Solar, it's for search basically, and I use it also. It's more used now. I don't know if you heard about Cloudera. It's nearly $1 billion of investment around solar technology, and they are pushing Solar as a data store, and them and other guys. Okay, so let's see if my slides are okay. Yeah, there is a Solar indexer. It's an OpenERP module. So for instance, here I have an instance of OpenERP, and there is a module installed. For instance, it's local. Okay, it's based on the CAM-to-CAM connector infrastructure, but the backend is for Solar. So here I have a Solar Apache Solar running local. I parameterize the backend, and also I have some products. I don't see the product. Maybe okay, you will need to trust me because we have no time. And I can on the backend, if I modify a product, it will be indexed, and I can also click on index all. So it's taking like a few seconds. Okay, taking a few seconds. Okay, and then I can look in my Apache Solar. I can look. And I can find all the, for instance, so all there are 49 products, and I see them all. You should see that we use that slash character to be able to, maybe I can zoom in. So basically, we are able to the demo, a real case here. This is have, for instance, this is using product image, for instance, and here we have all the image URLs, for instance, they are stored in a page Soler, and also all the image names, for instance. So you see there is a naming convention, so we are able. And basically, I will not have time to show that, but it's using the same. It's using the same accurate API. So basically, I can switch. I can decide that I'm not going to read data for OpenERP from OpenERP website, but instead I'm going to read them from a page Soler, and then it's extremely fast. But of course, it's not absolutely real time. But basically, the strategy with that is using that when you are doing an e-commerce or something like that. For all the part for the anonymous navigation, then you would use, and only once the user is going to log in, you are going to hit OpenERP database. So then you are not exposing the security of OpenERP to anybody, and you are not having issue with scalability. And also, I said that connectors suck because they are a schema mismatch. But in that case, because there is no target schema, it's just a denormalization.
Es un framework de conexión de una aplicación externa a OpenERP, digo a Odoo, ¿vale? Entonces, en esto está basado, bueno, pues hay varios conectores hechos. Hay, por ejemplo, el conector de Magento, de PrestaShop. Bueno, pues inicialmente era de una manera, luego se hizo de otra forma y, bueno, ha dado un lugar a tener un framework. Si tú, por ejemplo, un cliente tuyo ya tiene una web hecha en lo que sea y le quieres conectar con OpenERP, ¿vale? Pues puedes utilizar el OOR, que es el framework. Habéis visto por consola que estaba ejecutando Raphaël comandos en Ruby, en Rails, ¿vale? Y estaba atacando una base de datos y mostrando datos de esa base de datos por pantalla, ¿no? Entonces, claro, esos datos los puedes mostrar donde quieras, ¿sí? Entonces, con OOR puedes atacar el framework de OpenERP, de Odoo.
Sorry.
Y bueno, pues utilizar ese framework desde una aplicación externa. Entonces, para algo que preguntaron ayer, que era, bueno, yo tengo mi interfaz web y tengo que exponer mi base de datos a Internet. En cierta forma es verdad. Dijo Roberto que era bastante seguro y luego se nos dieron unas pautas también para securizar el servidor. Entonces, para una web nueva, tienda online y tal, pues igual no te merece la pena de montar la historia. Pero si el cliente lo quiere, pues dices, no, pues te monto una PrestaShop, un sistema externo, lo conecto con OOR y ya tienes la posibilidad de manejarte, o sea, de montar un conector rápidamente, ¿vale? Y ya está, es un poco esta herramienta. Ya siento los problemas de conexión y todo lo que ha habido, pero bueno, la verdad es que es un tema bastante potente, ¿vale? O sea, si lo necesitáis, pues ahí está, ¿vale? Sin más, o sea que agradece a Rafael
No, a ver si somos capaces, que no sé si me está leyendo.
Vale, bueno, pues nada, si tenéis alguna pregunta, pues se la trasladamos a Rafael. Le he empezado a presentar y ni siquiera he podido, pero bueno, él es CEO de Accretion, tienen oficina en Brasil y en Francia. Se caracteriza porque le mete mucha caña a Odoo, mucha, o sea, Rafael es súper crítico con todo y con todos, pero bueno, hay muchas veces que tiene razón, otras no, ¿vale? Y yo me peleo mucho con él también, o sea, mucho. O sea que, pero en el fondo nos tenemos cariño, vamos a decir. Y es verdad, está bien porque siempre saca el lado crítico de, habéis visto, ¿no? El principio de la presentación siempre es muy crítico con todo lo que hay que mejorar, pero por otro lado, pues bueno, ayuda un poco a pinchar a la gente y también no decir todo está guay, sino